Hi, Internet. Welcome to Rambling Tea Time. This is a podcast by myself, Kim, and my brother, Chris, where we talk about anything that really interests us. We talk about movies or food or music, anything that we like, really. And as you would know, since you clicked it and are reading the title, it is about tea. So, first and foremost, what are
What?
you drinking, Chris?
Um, I'm drinking a diet green tea with citrus flavor inside.
And how is it?
Um, it's okay. Not sweet. Very definitely the diet is kicking in
Ugh.
super hard. No, it's not bad. It's just very light. It's very light. It's okay
Uh-huh.
chilled. I like it. It is. It's fine.
Do you
This
have
is
anything
fine.
else to say about it?
It looks like pea.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and it does.
Yeah, it looks like urine, and that's all. Yeah, that's a plus in my book.
What? What? What?
Nothing. Yeah. What are you
Okay.
drinking?
I'm drinking a very exquisite tea. This is Tazo Organic. I have to say organic.
Organic.
Organic peach cobbler. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it because it isn't that great. I mean, it tastes nice and smooth, but it it doesn't really taste like peach. It says that it has in cinnamon, and that's about all that I can taste. So it tastes
Oh,
like cinnamon
overbearing.
tea.
Oh,
No, it says that it has in apples as well, but it doesn't. It doesn't taste like any of those. Yeah, I'm disappointed actually.
oh, oh well. You gonna try it again? No.
No. Why would I try it again? Anyway, what are our topics today?
Well, this is going to be our first podcast, so I
Yeah,
think we should start it off with something that we both equally enjoy:
like
manga. Uh, I'm not sure which manga I wanted to start us off with, but something a little weird that I started reading not too long ago.
what?
All right, let me see if I can find it here. The Lies of Sheriff Evans. I think that's the name. Yes, I think that's the name. The Lies of Sheriff Evans.
And what is it
Okay.
about?
It's about a sheriff in a well western setting. Not something you see a lot in manga. He's a sheriff. He's a good sheriff. But his whole thing is that he keeps trying to pick up ladies, or he's trying to get involved with ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the story, he keeps having flashbacks to like advice his dad gives him, and he keeps trying to implement it in his daily life and how it
Okay.
refers to situations that he occurs. And it's a very humorous manga. And essentially, you're watching your character. He isn't incompetent, but you're watching him bumble through situations with hilarious ends, all the backdrop of westerns, so him stopping bad guys, having a rival character who herself is also a bumbling idiot who also has feelings for Sheriff
For
Evans.
him. Oh, okay.
And so you're reading
Okay.
the manga and you're like, why would these two idiots just go out for once? And one
Does
thing that
that
also
ever happen?
it's getting there. It's not, you know how you read romance stuff and it's like, can these two characters just get over it and do it?
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah. That
sometimes
happens a lot.
sometimes it feels like that, but at the same time, it's humor. It's very humorous, and I think I like the slow build up to the interactions of the characters. I like it. I do want them to kind of push the gas on the romance. Hell, even the narrator, because there's a narrator, and he's like, no, these two are idiots. These are complete. So I really like that stuff, and it's definitely it's probably one of my more favorite manga to just read that isn't too drama heavy and just a very light and
hmm
enjoyable
And
overall.
when did this start? I've never heard of
I've
this.
never heard of it.
No.
The Lies of Sheriff Evans. Very funny. I think it came out like probably about 3 years ago. Lies of Sheriff Evans. Very funny slice of life western comedy. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's how I would describe it. And there's even like stuff with his deputy actually dating, and he's like way younger than him, and
Uh-huh.
all sort of stuff like that. He's like semi jealous, but it's a good reading. You should really give it a go.
Okay.
You would be
Okay.
laughing your ass off.
Sheriff Evans.
Yes, Evans. Yeah,
Evans.
yes, The Lies of Sheriff Evans.
Okay.
It's good. I love it, and I brought it up because there isn't a lot of Western like just
Themed manga.
yeah, comics and manga in general. You don't see that Western type setting used a lot. The only other thing that I can really think about that I remember reading in recent memory would be, I guess, JoJo's Part 7, Steel Ball Run. Kind of
JoJo's.
takes place with a, not, I wouldn't say a Wild Westy, but definitely, yes, Wild West setting. Doesn't, it's like the end of the Wild West era, and it's a race across the continent.
Wasn't that second part of JoJo's also westerny?
I not I guess the era? No, because it was around. No, no, no. That was in the 1940s. It was if part one took place like in like the 1900s.
Not part one.
Part
After
two,
that.
part two was around like
With the
1930s, 1940s. You mean with Jonathan?
what am I
Because
talking
he
about?
fought in World War. It was around World War Two, before World War Two, or
Okay,
around that era.
hold
So
on.
no, not
There
that
was
long
a
ago. It's just how
character
the characters are
with
dressed.
light white purpley hair. Oh my
Do you
gosh.
realize how little that narrows it
I
down?
know. Okay,
Describing
his
JoJo characters.
clothing, his shirt was like cut off by at the abs, so his stomach and abs were exposed. That
What are
character?
you talking about?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to properly narrow down where I think I saw the western part in JoJo's,
You
but
haven't seen it yet.
I mean in the second part.
You probably just saw a character dressed up.
Did I?
Yeah. Don't forget the characters of JoJo's are very
It's when
eccentric
it's
dress.
when it's when it's when one of the JoJo's is a grandpa. He's an older guy.
You're talking about part three or part four.
Is it? I'm
Yes.
sure that they were like
And
out
John
in like some kind
no
of wilderness. There was a
and
wilderness.
and part three takes place in like the 90s, and they were in the desert because they were in Egypt.
Oh, okay. That might be it.
And
That's
Jonathan kind of dressed up. His get up is kind of old Western rider outfit type of thing, and he
okay.
has on
So
like a
then I
cowboy
was
hat.
just
Yeah,
messed
you
up by his
remember him?
style. His
Yes,
fashion is what made me think it
yes.
was Western. Okay, okay. I got it.
Could it be more east than in Egypt?
That was weird.
It was.
I remember seeing a cactus though.
Yes, because they were
Oh,
in
right. You said it
Egypt.
was a desert. Right. So I was kind of right.
You were wrong. But yeah, I don't remember really seeing a lot of manga that use the setting, and I like that they use it to such a comedic vibe to it because
Hmm.
Western comedies in Western settings are rare. Just in general, they have few. I think
Are you sure? Should we do a quick search
ugh,
on Western
not a
manga?
Western as in stuff done in the West. For
I
those
know
listening,
what you're saying.
I mean the genre
Oh,
of westerns.
okay, so what is this thing called? It's called the lies.
Lies of Sheriff
The
Evan.
lies, right?
Lies, because he constant telling
Lies
lies.
of. Okay, that's enough. The lies of. Is it any of these? Any of these?
um, no.
Okay,
Keep scrolling. Ah, there it is. Yeah, that.
this right here.
Yeah,
Okay, so it started in
yeah, 3 years
2017.
back. Yeah, roughly.
Let's see. And then they don't have. Okay, so they don't
You
have
better just pull up the Wikipedia page.
Western as even a tag.
That's the setting, not really the genre.
Okay, so that should still be something.
Not really.
They have guns, crime.
This is because of
police
the
his
app you're
they have
using.
historical. I do think though that if there were more with that kind of setting, it would have its own tag.
Probably, but it's very uncommon, I guess. It's the setting that
Yeah.
comes up occasionally, but it isn't you don't find a lot of stuff that takes place in that time period
Let me add
being
this
made
to
in
my
general.
list. Planning. Add. Do you see? I added it.
Yeah,
I
it's
added
good.
it
You will like it. You
swiftly.
would
Did you
really
see?
enjoy it and
Okay.
get a chuckle out of it.
Chuckle.
Yes, a good chuckle.
Did you like how quickly my app worked compared to
Whatever.
your newly? Oh.
I'm just downloaded that thing because I wanted to track my manga, and it's giving me issues because I'm using so many of them, and I just want something that just pulls everything in one place. And I have to update my manga update stuff.
So
It gets
this is what
tiresome.
you want. This is what I think I realized. On the tracking app, you want to select, hey, I read chapter 50 of this,
I already
and
have
it
something like that.
also, okay, but you also want it to change
Okay,
on the site where you
okay. For those
read.
listening, I use MangaDex as my primary place to read manga. I have manga updates. Mal, which is my anime list, and I anime list stuff for those following things.
Okay, you
What I
don't need
do,
all of those.
no, I don't. But what I want is when I use Tachiyomi, which is an app, so that I can read stuff. I just want when I read on Tachiyomi, it sends a thing to AniList saying I read it, and then when it shows up on, and also when something pops up on AniList or MangaDex, and I read it on MangaDex, it pops up and sent back to my anime list saying, "Hey, this thing is read." That's all I want, and I have it. It's there. I set it up today. It's good. It's just some user scripts and something else that I'm using. But yeah, there's some extensions on Chrome. Just have it all set up so that when I read something, it just, hey, this was read. There you
Okay, so
go.
it automatically, well, not automatically, but when you select that it's red
On
on,
manga that's no,
it'll
I don't have to select it.
reflect
I
on.
just read it,
Okay,
and
that's what
then
I'm saying. It'll
right.
reflect on the tracking app that you're
Exactly.
talking about.
That's all I
Okay.
wanted,
Oh, okay.
and it works
Wow.
fine until something breaks it.
I don't do that. I manually go and click.
I used to do that, and then I have something like 1,000 manga, and that's just like one small amount. But it gets tedious because I read so much overall, and just going and updating 100 manga each week or something like that would just be tiresome.
Well, you have time.
Just because I have time,
Doesn't
Kim,
mean you want to do it.
doesn't
I
mean that
get
I
it. I
want to do
get
it.
it. I get it.
But yeah, as you can tell, listeners, we enjoy manga a lot.
Are you just going to call out the listeners
Yes, I'm just gonna
every
call out
now
the
and then?
listeners. What about you? I gave you my weird manga man suggestion. Do you have anything
Yeah, I
interesting?
actually went through my list
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really have anything that's I think is considered
Oh
weird.
come on, there's so much like
Yeah,
weird
yeah,
bullshit
but a
going
lot of
on.
the things that I read, it seems that they are
I think you're
normal.
I think you've read manga for so long that you're just and you're seeing so much shit that weird isn't cutting it for you anymore. There isn't anything that's weird
Well,
anymore.
I don't know. Let
You know
me
how
look at it
it doesn't
because
have to be weird, just be something that you find is unique, that you like.
unique, unique, unique. This is difficult. This is difficult.
You know what
I
isn't
like I
unique?
like Mari Mashita Iruma-kun.
Ah, that's pretty good.
It's not unique
I mean, it's
in a
but
sense
it's
where a
fun.
human goes to the underworld and then goes to school.
Yeah, it's something that's
That's
been
been
done
done.
millions of
But you know
times.
what? It's really good.
Yeah, just because something uses, tropes or setting or setup doesn't mean that it's bad. It's all about how
Yeah.
it's executed, and Irma does a good job.
You know, Irumachi is so cute. He's so cute. He is. He really is. Look at him just sitting there on that big demon chair. Oh, so cute. Anyway, there is Blue Lock.
You want to talk about Blue Lock?
Blue Lock. Shall I talk about Blue Lock?
Yes.
What shall I say about Blue Lock?
explain first of all the
I
synopsis of
shall
this
read the
series.
exact synopsis
Don't
that
read
is
it.
here.
This give us this the side notes version.
Side notes. So basically, all of the best high school strikers in Japan are taken into this program that is like a prison program where they can either leave or try to become the best strikers in Japan. And they have to stay in this like facility until they get kicked out or
Get
until
good.
they become the best. And they're just teenagers. It's because Japan is trying to create the best egoist striker because they think that currently the national players and the national team are too, I want to say nice, but maybe nice is not the right word. They
Weak.
just don't have someone who thinks they're all of that and arrogant and basically a ball hog. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And you may think from the summary that you wouldn't be interested. Oh, teenagers all are taken into like this prison like camp, and it's
Sounds
just
like 10 different manga I've seen before in
right, but it
varying
doesn't
levels.
really sound like you
It
wanna
sounds like a boot camp.
wait, did I say football? When I say striker, I mean football. People
Yes.
get that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yes. Football as in football soccer. Yes. Not football football.
Okay, but you can't have a
Just call it football.
striker in American
I
football.
don't know, dude. I don't
So
know.
I think what I'm saying is being understood.
Yes, yeah.
Right. So I don't think that if you initially read the summary, you may not
It
be
seems
interested.
weird because that's what
It
I thought
does
when I read it.
seem weird, does it?
It's
It to me it didn't feel interesting, but I still wanted to
yes.
read it because it was a
Indeed, it's
sport.
still all right. You love your sport.
I just wanted to see what it's about. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
see, okay, and then I would have really dropped it if it was no good. But I'm still reading it and I like it. Besides some things like the naming,
Probably just the translators who are doing it because I think you
well,
told me about this
this is like the naming of some of their, let's
moves,
say,
special moves.
they aren't special moves or anything like that. They aren't. I wouldn't say they are because the manga talks about real football. There's real football terms. There's the techniques, these
It is grounded in
positions.
reality.
It is right,
Even though the whole premise seems very odd of taking kids into a prison boot camp
right.
situation to train them. Because when I saw the prison thing,
Hmm.
I was like, why a prison? Why is it just like to grab the reader who reads the synopsis? It
Right,
feels like that because what you're describing, it just sounds like it's a boot camp to weed out a whole all these sportsmen, these footballers, all these strikers
right.
to get who's the best and then use him for the national team. But at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, boot camp. Why does it need to be in a prison? Do they ever say why it needed
About
to be in
what?
a prison, or is it just
It's
like
not a prison. It's a prison-like area. They're cut off from their family and the outside
it's
world.
not slavery? It's indentured servitude.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I see what you're doing here, and I can't really refute. So I'm just going to move on.
Okay. They never like explain why prison. Not like
I'm sure they. What do you keep saying prison?
because
It's not a prison. It's prison like a prison like
is that really
facility.
the environment you want to have your characters in though to create supposedly the best egoist striker?
They're surrounded by others that are like them, though. The best. They're supposed to be. They're 300
It's
of the
all yeah.
supposed best strikers in Japan. Well, high school ones, high school
Well, yeah, football
level.
is one of those sports where you have well most sports you start young because the length of time to play isn't that long when you think about it. You get old.
Well, oh, you mean while you play
Yeah.
as a professional?
Yes.
Well, not a lot, but I think more and more, it's like our genes are being mutated and people start younger. Does that make any sense?
No, it's more that the younger you start, the
It is. It is.
the better you build up your body to get accustomed to that strenuous
Yeah.
activity
And they
over time.
really start really young. The
Yeah.
kids get put in academies like by the time they can walk, they can even talk,
Okay,
you
that's
know?
overkill.
It seems like overkill, but it's real. It's for real, for
I know
real.
what you mean, yeah.
If I was living in England or something like that, I'd want to be in one of those academies too.
Oh, you want to be on sport in a football program?
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
you got to
The
start young.
Arsenal one.
Let's not
You know,
talk.
I've seen, let me just talk about Arsenal for
Oh
a moment.
God.
Recently, they're saying that the players just don't care. The players of Arsenal just don't care. And
Because they're shit.
I think, as we thought, they're the 15th in the Premier League. 15 or 14, something like that. That's not Arsenal. What is that? Anyway,
Back to Blue Lock.
right. We weren't done? Okay. So, they finally, I think it's the translation. They finally stopped, well, they didn't really stop saying chemical reaction. So there's a part in the manga, or there's several parts I should say, where they talk about when two players or two or three players or how much ever link up to make,
A
a
great
great
play.
play.
Oh, okay.
And it's called a chemical reaction, or that's the translation I've been getting. I don't like it. I don't. On the most recent chapter that I read, it said though no chemistry. And that, we were talking about it because we talked about it. You said, and I
The
said that
wording.
it sounds better to say they just didn't have any chemistry in their
Yes.
plays. Saying chemical reaction sounds so weird. Oh,
They have
anyhow.
great chemistry. Look at that. I guess if they're describing the play as a chemical reaction, but I mean, reaction, you could just call it anything. You could just call it a reaction. Look at that chain reaction would have been
Right, they
better.
could have just said reaction.
Yeah. Or just a chain reaction. Like something happens, something else happens, you know?
But in context, it really sounds better to just say
They have great
they had,
chemistry.
right, they either had great chemistry or they didn't have great chemistry.
Yes.
Just saying chemistry sounds much better.
Okay. It might, who knows how the person is translating it. It might be.
I mean, it might be that the literal accurate translation.
Is that?
It
Hey,
might be.
authors can be wrong sometimes, even if their intent is to have that as their thing. Whatever. It might sound good
Yeah.
to them, but translated otherwise, it might just be like, this is terrible.
I do like the characters though.
Okay.
I like how they're drawn when they're just standing there. It sounds stupid. I love how they look very cool and sometimes intimidating.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I like it. And my most favorite of all is when they curse. I don't know if that is the translator just spicing it up for the readers, or
Okay.
if that is from the real the author, but it is just great when they just cuss. I can truly feel their youthful cussing energy.
Youthful cussing energy.
Yeah, they'd
Uh,
really curse like teenagers would.
yes. It reminds
You
me
know,
of
some
Egor.
people will say, "Oh, when I was a teenager, we didn't used to curse. Our teenagers don't curse. Our kids even don't curse." They'll say those kind of things, and it
I
cannot
don't
be
know about that.
farther from the truth because
I cussed
I
like a
grew
pirate.
up and
I still
I
do.
know that all around me was filled with all kind of explicits,
I
okay?
mean, I'm your brother. and I'm like pirate king of swear words.
Yeah, you are Pirate King.
Yes, fuckity fuck, fuck, fuck.
Do you know in the chapter that I read today, the character said that. He said, fuckity fuck, fuck. He did. I'm being serious. Those are the times when I think this this is the translator, isn't it? Right?
I don't know, probably the
Maybe he
all.
said something like kso, kso, kso,
Yeah,
which could be either shit or you when it's translated, sometimes authors use fuck.
or if you want to take down the rating, some official translators would turn it to damn.
Oh
Oh
damn.
damn.
Oh damn. I
Loses
don't like
impact, doesn't
damn.
it?
Damn is like
A baby's first swear.
damn.
Oh,
Damn. You know? Damn.
oh damn.
Oh damn. Damn it.
Oh no.
Oh no. That reminds me of something so weird. Wow.
What?
You know what that ono reminds me of? It reminds me of Days of Our Lives.
Oh my god.
This.
Days of our lives.
Listen, listen, listen. What was her name? I think she was Jack's mother.
Oh my god. People aren't going to get this. Like,
You remember Jack, though,
yes.
and his mother.
You realize
At
we're
that
talking
time, she
about.
said, "Oh no." The end. That's that's the extent of my memory.
Alright, I'm just gonna. Jack didn't deserve his wife. He was too much of a
Who was
shithead.
his wife?
He was married to that girl who was the. Oh my
She was
god, we're talking
always
about fucking
trying
Days of
really
Our
hard
Lives.
for Jack. I don't know how this happened. I'm so sorry. But I think people much older than us will understand that
You realize we're talking
who
about
Jack is.
episodes from of Days of Our Lives from like
Yes,
1990.
yes, I do realize. That's why I'm saying
Nobody
our
is going to know what the fuck we're talking
parents,
about.
people older than us by a generation will understand. And
Marlena and
those
Bo and ugh.
and those maybe who watched
Okay,
Days of
let's
Our
start talking
Lives,
about
the
Days of
all of
Our
it.
Lives.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
daytime television has no reason to be brought up right now. Okay, right.
Uh-huh.
Blue Lock. Anything
Right?
else you have to add
I
to it?
like Blue Lock. I like the characters' growth. I like how they take on different situations, football situations, obviously, and they become better. That's all I have to say. Right now, where I am, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10.
8 out of
It's a
10.
good read. Yeah,
Okay. Would you binge it?
I did.
No.
I did. I only started reading Blue Lock a month ago, one
Oh,
month ago,
okay.
or yeah, I think it was a month ago.
Okay.
I'm
Not bad.
fairly new to the game.
New to the game.
Yeah, the Blue Lock game.
Okay.
Okay. What
I
else is
wanted
on your
to.
list?
Well, not something on my list. I want to talk about
What?
the genre. A certain genre that has been. Well, not. I just want to talk about isekais. Okay?
Uh,
Because okay, let's isekais means uh travel to a new world or new world, parallel world, that type of stuff.
right.
There are good ones, right? There are good
Uh,
ones. There are good ones, Kim.
okay. I can say there are good ones in my life now
They look
because of you.
okay, yes.
All of the ones that I read are
What
what
I've
you
suggested
recommended to me.
because I've waded through so much shit.
I
It's
I started to stay away from
because
isekais
it's an
like
oversaturated genre right now
around
too.
that time with that anime one.
This one.
Oh my gosh, my memory is just shoddy right now. The game, the
Okay,
people that went into the game
but
isekai
is that
world.
they don't count as a isekai?
I kind of count it though.
Going into a video game world that's actually a video game is not an isekai.
But do you know the
But I
one I'm
guess it
talking of?
counts. I don't know. There's so many of the
And I
things that you're
actually saw that
describing right
it's
now.
getting a new
What one are you talking about? Are you talking
series.
about Sword Art Online?
No, no, no.
Log Horizon?
Yes.
I watched the first season of that. and
Right,
didn't
right.
really go back. It
So
was okay.
it's the second season is really bad, in
I
my
know
opinion.
I've
I
heard that.
truly do not like it. And that is around the same time that I stopped with the isekais.
Well, like I was saying, there are good ones, but it is a genre that is filled with a lot of hits and misses and a few gems, and sometimes the gems just get cancelled. A lot of this stuff were novels,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was a trend with a few of them getting adaptations into
Right.
manga or whatever, and then it just exploded. So the isekais have always been there. They've just been on it novel format for years, and then just like within the last decade or so, the explosion of getting adaptations here, getting adaptations there, and then you've seen a
Yeah,
whole
it
bunch of.
seems like there really are a ton
There
out
are a ton,
there.
and I will say that having read through a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
when I first started, I really didn't like the trend because of one particular thing.
What?
Sometimes the isekai setting is a good setting, the fantasy world, but the fact that the character or the main character came to that world really doesn't do anything. Here's how it
What do
goes.
you mean?
I mean, the startup doesn't didn't need to be isekai because the fantasy world stands on its own. In that the person coming to New World, that doesn't change literally anything about them. All it changes is that they have knowledge of their world, but that's it. Sometimes it's just this could have been a perfectly simple fantasy setting. It didn't need to be, oh, this Japanese salaryman got hit by a truck and then he got teleported to a new
Oh,
world.
that's how you
That
mean.
whole that
Okay.
those few chapters sometimes doesn't mean anything. The only thing that
Okay.
that does is that you're giving us a main character who knows nothing about the world. Therefore the readers following around don't know anything, and they're reacting to everything with the character. Makes sense. It's fine. That's fine.
I think a lot of isekai are like that though, Chris. A
Yes,
lot.
a lot,
I mean, I feel like most of them I've read are
extremely many
exactly
of them,
like that
and I'm
when
just
you
saying
come from a new
that
world
there's some that
or two.
there's some that work out well in that they use the characters' misunderstanding or not knowledge of anything to good effect. And other times the character just shows up and he's like a super badass all of a sudden because you know how these things work. He gets blessings by a goddess or gods or whatever,
Right.
and then he becomes the best guy. And then he gets a whole harem. Some of those are actually funny. Some of them are just terrible, but even in the filthy, crappy isekais, sometimes there's some merit. I don't know what I'm trying to. I'm not defending the trash, but sometimes there's good trash.
I think it seems like you have a love or hate
Yes, it is. It is. Yes,
relationship,
it's
love
a
and
genre
hate.
where that isekais, reincarnation, also another thing that pops
Yes,
up a lot.
yes. That pops up alongside a lot of isekais.
Yes,
Yeah, I've read those.
reincarnation is either both they died, they got reincarnated in New World as a baby, or they got reincarnated into the future of their life, so it's in their same timeline or whatever, but they came back to their life. Like there's a manhwa, I think it's called Descent of the Demon, something like that. Essentially the main character, he was in our world, he died. His first life sucked. He was in a wheelchair for the most of it. He died. He went to this fantasy world, but it wasn't a fantasy world. He got sent back in time to like wuxia type settings, so fighting and
Uh-huh.
cultivation and murim,
Uh,
underground martial arts world, that type
yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's based in Korea, and then he gets killed
Obviously.
again, and then he reincarnates again into his life as a person in our modern
Wait,
age.
what?
Yes. So he goes
Is this
through.
Inception or
No,
something?
no, he goes through two reincarnations. He starts from modern day, goes back in time, becomes like a Moraine Lord, bad, super badass, that type of shit. Then he dies, he gets killed, and then he is rebirth or reincarnated again into himself, or he comes
Can
back in the
can
modern
you
day.
call that reincarnation though when it's back to your own self?
I call it reincarnation because it is what it is.
Well, I guess.
But
But you
that
don't really reincarnate as yourself.
no, not all the time. But I mean, who
No,
knows
I'm
how these
saying
settings works? They choose, they pick
the
and choose
okay,
whatever.
okay.
It can be
Can no, what
whatever.
I'm saying is by the definition of the word reincarnation,
Uh huh.
reincarnate, can it
Yes, I
be
think so. Yeah,
back into your own self?
yeah.
Really?
He was himself, but like on a different timeline or before the shit got bad for him. So, but he came with all the knowledge of the two previous lives that he had lived. The
Oh.
shitty life as a fucked up, messed up kid and man, the life as becoming a Murim leader in the past, and now his modern day life with all the power of the Murim leader and just trying to live a normal life. But you know how this, it's called the descent of the demon master or whatever. So of course he's going to have to deal with more martial arts stuff. It's okay. I brought that up to say I like that twist,
Okay.
using the reincarnation like that, I guess. I just don't like when the character shows up immediately and becomes super strong. You know what I mean? I hate when a isekai character, they go into the new world, okay, they get blessings, and then all of a sudden they're just super strong, they're the best. I get it as like escapism and it's a fantasy, and it's all about taking this normie from the normal world and giving him special abilities in the new world, or the ones where they're like, I got a trash ability but it turns out to be the best type of shit.
You know, now that you said that,
There's so
not
many of
the
those.
not the
Oh
trash
God.
type of shit, but have you ever read an isekai where it's like an elf or something coming from that world and that is what's normal to a different kind of world?
There is a series. It's kind of a etchy. Essentially, oh God, I can't remember the name right now. The guy, he lives in his apartment, and his apartment is a portal to like the isekai, another world, parallel world, and that's where elves and stuff and all. He gets his dad hires him because he works at like the government. His
Oh,
dad's like, okay,
okay.
you need to be like the ambassador for us, since your room is literally the only portal to this other world. So over time, elves and orcs and even like a demon queen and like succubus, a whole bunch of different ladies come true into the world, and they live in the
Mm-hmm.
apartment complex. No, so that is one of the few interactions of people coming from the fantasy settings to modern day setting. There's also another one where she's a knight and she comes across into the modern day and she gets found by a farmer out in Japan, and she stays with him for a bit and they get to know one another, and then eventually they bring the government gets involved, but it isn't for very long. And she also has family that's in back home looking for her. I stopped reading it because I was like, some of these chapters are just kind of boring slice of life stuff between the characters. And then the farmer's girlfriend showed up, but it turns out she's a government worker, so he used her to
Okay,
help.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it gets a little bit complicated, but that's also another way, another reverse isekai, as they say.
Well, I didn't mean coming to the modern world.
You meant
Like,
just
let's say gnomes in space, something like that. Have you ever seen anything like that?
talk about
Like
gnomes in
worlds that we
space.
don't know about.
You probably will like Warhammer in general then.
What is that?
You never heard of Warhammer 40K? Essentially, it's a fantasy space opera fantasy setting. This is a Western thing, that tabletop games that's old as shit, and they have had many stories, many games, and I guess novels as well. But you mentioning gnomes in space, there's orcs in space. And the way, if I remember correctly, orcs have a god. And the way how belief works for them is if they can slap junk together, and as long as they believe that it works
As what?
as whatever they think it is. So if they slap,
Is this a comedy?
no, this is a legit dangerous ass enemy in the Warhammer universe. Orcs, I think I'm doing this correctly. Orcs believe, okay, I take this cardboard box, I put like a stick in it, and I believe that it's a gun. It's a gun, and it's gonna fire bullets. Yes.
Okay.
I slap some wood together on this ship. It's going to be a spaceship. I think I'm correct. I might be wrong, but I remember that being a thing. Yeah, I think you would be interested in this setting because humans in this setting as well are weird as shit.
Even weirder than normal?
Dude, trust me, I think you will like Warhammer 40K. It's a very interesting world and setting, and just so many different groups. Hell, just group different chapters of groups. I mean, chapters like a group chapter.
I got
Okay,
you.
just stuff lore about just certain groups within a hierarchy of a whole wide different groups of people and stuff. Really interesting. Learn about space marines and all their weird shit going on with them. Learn about the god emperor, who is literally a god emperor of humanity. I see
Yes, you
that
should
look you're
send me
giving.
whatever this is.
I'll send you a Wikipedia page, and you're going to be there for not Wikipedia, a wiki page, not Wikipedia page. You'll be there forever. Warhammer is an interesting setting. I would love to read some more stuff from it though. That's why I go on the wiki pages. It's, trust me, you'll like.
Okay.
But yeah, isekais suck, and
Right.
they're
This
awesome.
started because of
They
isekais.
suck, and they're awesome. There's good ones. There's terrible ones. There's that one where the guy he went over into the world, but his whole entire thing is his only ability is he can use logs as a weapon.
What now?
He uses wood, literally logs.
And does what?
No,
Hits
that's
people
his weapon.
across the head?
Yes,
Uh,
that's the gimmick of that particular isekai.
this is a comedy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
mix. Comedy is the most important part of it, but also there isekais like that where there's one gimmick and they either run with it or they just run it into the ground. Oh, let me
Have
tell
you
you,
seen something run into the ground?
man, anything can get run into the ground over time. Like someone, even
I
just this
mean, in
trope.
isekais.
I guess the harem trope often comes along with isekai.
Uh,
It seems to be the it seems to be the sibling pairing
you know,
of
I
isekai.
avoid harems though.
Eh, it depends. Some of them are fine. Some harems are funny. There's also well, let me tell you about a very ridiculous story. Parallel Paradise. It's a smut, etchy gore. I'm just essentially the main character is teleported to a world. I can't really remember how he gets to this world, but I think he died or something like that in the beginning. You know, the usual shit. He dies,
Right.
goes to this new world, and realizes he's the only man around.
Mm-hmm.
There are these weird creatures called Kuju? I can't remember. Who cares about them? There are these creatures out in the woods that rape women.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Rape, kill, eat women, essentially. And so the women of this world, there's only women by the way, are very skeptical of men and stuff like that. But it's kind of like a apocalyptic setting. It looks like the world had a huge nuclear war and fallout happen, and these are like the remnants of them. So they're no
The
men,
women are the
they're only
remnants.
women. And what happens is women die on something called moon breaking.
Which
Essentially, I
is
think that when they reach 20, they die
just like that
just
for
like
no
that.
reason.
They just die. Apparently, someone creates or keeping more people. I think a queen or something like that. She creates more women or whatever, but it's called the moon breaking. and on their 20th birthday, they just die. I think they just like disappear. Barely remembering. But the main character goes and he kind of figured out the world, and he comes across like this girl or something. A couple of them, like these guardians. Essentially, they protect each town from the rapist monsters in the woods.
Got you.
Got you right. And I can't remember the very beginning of it. And he ends up having sex with one of them. And what happens is her moonbreaking never comes, right? So it's like, oh, if you have sex with him, you get to live past like your 20th birthday. So
Does it
essentially,
does it have to be him
I guess just
specifically?
sex. But what ends up happening is that a ring around the girls he has sex with shows up around their neck. But at the same time, some of the women he has sex with don't get the ring. I can't remember. I have to really reread this fucking thing because most of it right now is just him having sex. He's going around trying to solve what happened to the world, why he's the only guy, why there's super rapist monsters in the world, and at the same time he is helping by having sex with the women there to keep them alive. So it's an interesting, weird twist on the setting of an isekai. It's definitely
Okay. It
just
does
the
sound
author.
weird.
It
It
is
sounds
definitely weird.
extremely weird. He's
Very
doing
weird.
his sex humanitarianism.
There's other
Is that
stuff,
it?
but I kind of want you to read it because it's just so odd. I wouldn't call it high literature or anything, but it's definitely not one of my favorite isekais. But it's up there in that I think about it.
Hold on. You're saying that you want me to read it,
Yes.
but it's not one of your favorites.
No.
And you don't really enjoy it,
I can enjoy it.
but you want me to
I
read it.
enjoy reading it. I don't think it is particularly great either,
But
but
you want me to read
I'm
it.
not spoiling it because there's actually some interesting stuff that actually happens, and I want your input on it because I think, funny enough, I think you would like it. I think you would like
Uh-huh.
Parallel Paradise. It's a lot of smut, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. I don't know how to describe this.
Right.
I
Again, so you don't particularly think it's any good,
it's
but you're
fine.
recommending that I
Like
read it.
it's like a 6 out of 10. You've read worse than this on your own.
Yeah, on my own. When I accept recommendations, it's because I think this is going to be more than an 8.
This is okay. Let's stop giving things numerical
Wow,
value
wow.
that
No, we
good.
have to.
No, we don't. I'm just saying it
This
isn't.
sounds like me recommending that you finish Grim, even but because I know it ends badly and I only want you to see how badly it ends. Is that this?
Kinda, but at the same time, I think there is value in it. Not a lot, but
Wow, wow,
entertaining.
wow.
It is entertaining.
Okay.
Like garbage can be entertaining. Okay.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay. I mean, everything you're saying doesn't really make me want to read it, Chris.
I think it's a funny take on the harem isekai setting, and the stakes are actually high because people do get fucking killed. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to go around the world and have sex everywhere. The main character's like, oh god, at some points he's like, god, I have to have sex with everyone in this world. He essentially is like, yeah, great sex, and then it's like, wow,
Why can't they just have sex with each other?
sex with a man is what does it.
Oh, so they tried it then.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
certain?
Yes,
That's what I'm
Kimberly. There's
asking.
numerous enough sex scenes in the manga for you to be like, oh yeah, definitely they did try.
Mm,
But it's interesting, weird. I guess you could say alien idea, but not uncommon in that there's so many stories where the isekai sex pervert kind of goes around, fucks
yeah.
everybody in this harem. Uh, you know what's the worst type of harem though?
I don't know, but you're going to tell me.
The one where the main character is denser than a bag of rocks.
Oh my gosh. Now, see, that's for everything, I think. The only way that being oblivious works is when it's extremely comedic. The
I
setting has to
don't
be, no,
know.
the setting has to be comedic for me anyway to get over that the main character is so thick. For real.
I don't know. I think there's a point where it stops being funny though. You
Well,
know?
most things don't last forever.
What's that have to do with
How
it?
many chapters, how many episodes, how many
Look,
whatever
Kim,
are there?
somehow authors find a way to stretch this shit forever and
And that
people
is
keep
when
reading
you
it.
drop.
There are some harems where I'm like, just pick a girl. Just pick one. Just
No, no, no.
don't.
The very genre. Okay? Harem.
Mm-hmm.
There's no picking. There's no
Exactly.
one girl. Everybody
But you
has
know how
their
that they
best
always
girl,
end.
but there isn't one.
They always end with him picking a girl or her picking a boy. And then again,
Not
no,
necessarily.
I find
Those
in
things, a
harems
lot of
with
those end really open, where they're all like
yeah,
friends.
that shit. That's like a waste of my fucking time.
Mine too.
But I find in harems, mostly starring a female protagonist, the female protagonist realizes and tends to try to take on who that she wants most of the time. And then I don't know, man. I just hate dense main characters.
So
Like,
do I.
or you know what's the one thing? At least seem to be interested,
How can I
not just
say
so
this? Listen, listen.
dense,
I
dumb, and
hear what
retarded.
you're saying, but there's probably been a time in your life,
When I was dense as shit.
yeah, and you
Yes.
didn't realize someone had feelings for you. You know, more and
Yes.
more as I get older, I do not like the whole I'm so oblivious
Because it
character
reminds you of
either.
yourself.
No, it doesn't remind me of myself, but I just start to think there are really people who aren't thinking about that kind of stuff
Oh
at
yeah,
all anyways.
yeah.
So it's not even in their
View.
view. That's not what they're thinking about.
They make assumptions that the person isn't interested in
No,
them,
no, no.
even
They
though.
don't even listen, listen, listen. They don't think about the other person like that or anyone
Okay,
for that matter. That's not how their thought process is
that's
going
a
on.
complete
They
different
have
thing.
other things that they're thinking about.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
hate it when I just hate when a character is given a harem or group essentially for no reason. It's just there and it happens. Like sometimes it's stupid and funny. Sometimes the character is actively pursuing relationships with these people. I can get behind that. I can understand that type of a harem. Actively pursuing a partner, cool, whatever. But when it just falls into their lap and it's just they realize the attraction, they don't do or say anything. They don't ever say at least if you're not interested, say no. That that
No, no,
that
no.
is valid.
I don't think that works in harems either,
I don't
right?
know, man. I feel
Because there's
harem
so many characters. The main
is for the
character
reader.
is is
It's
it for
for
the
the reader.
reader?
Oh, whenever you see something
Is
where there's
it?
so many so many girls or guys or whatever, it starts to be less about who the main character is going to end up with. Then it becomes who the readers like.
Right, that's not what I meant though.
And it's just,
As
here are all
soon
these girls. Who's your favorite? Who's going to end up fighting the comments?
okay, but as soon as the the main says no, it'll turn into a different kind of story.
I guess.
It won't be a
But
harem.
if it's comedic at the same time, then then the character's like, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm a Sundare or
Yeah,
Yandere or
because
whatever.
you're an obsessed creep. They're those kinds.
there's so many situations in manga. If the gender roles reverse,
That
they my
people would
entire manga
accept
tag
it. You're
changes.
right. And I really hate that because I can see them and I sometimes feel
If that was a dude, if
uncomfortable.
that was a dude, everybody would be like, yeah, that girl's a bit of that dude's a bit of a creep. That's a bit of he's a little bit creepy. Why is he so clingy?
Exactly.
That type of thing. Moment is a girl and a dude, like, oh, she's so cute. She want you,
No,
man.
no, it's
Yeah.
not. And
I think it depends on how it's presented
in
because
our human life, do you know that those double standards exist?
oh yeah, no shit, dude.
It's sad though,
It is sad, but
because
it is what it is.
it's really sad and but it
Really true.
yeah,
So the mangas are being accurate to real life.
they are.
I was recently reading something where the woman she doesn't play any interest, and the main lead seems to be just he's not even being super creepy. He's just being like slightly pushy. He's certainly interested in her, but she's like, um, really I'm worrying about my daughters. I am trying to take care of them. I have my daughters to think. And the comments are all like the main lead is really weird and really creepy. Really, why is he so pushy? But over in another manga, in a different page, somebody would you'll see a same setup where it's a main lead and the female character will be extremely pushy,
Mm-hmm.
extremely up in his face about it.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's really good at saying anything unless it's just really bad. Sometimes it's just there's no forgiving it.
I don't think there's any forgiving no
It
matter your
depends.
gender.
Most of the time, if it's comedic, it's for comedic purposes. Comedy gets away with a lot of dumb shit because it's comedy. If it's done for
But
laughs, it's far more
sometimes
forgivable.
it may seem like that as well. But
Sometimes,
you know,
sometimes.
sometimes when you read comedies, they don't feel very funny. Even when I
I
watch
mean,
television shows, listen,
I mean
if
that's
I watch a television show and it says it's a comedy and I ain't laughing within the first 3 minutes,
okay. That's
then this is
overkill.
not funny.
3 minutes
This
is like
is
the
not a
intro.
comedy.
3 minutes could be the.
Exactly.
So you won't be laughing in the like the opening credits.
Yeah. It
That's
should stay
overkill.
true to what it's saying it is.
Who knows,
If
man?
not, push that tag back behind drama or whatever it is. Let the comedy tag appear later if
That
it
happens
doesn't appear
sometimes.
later in the actual
I don't know what we're
show.
talking about anymore.
What do you mean?
Tags and comment. Oh, right. The whole.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, let me
I no,
clarify.
I understand. Don't
Do
need to
you?
clarify.
Are you sure? Because I
Excuse
can.
me.
Shall I?
Oh,
No?
no, you don't need to clarify.
Okay.
One more thing that I want to talk about was
You have a lot to talk about, don't you?
what do you want to talk about, Kim?
Berries. You want to talk about berries?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about sci-fi settings or manga set in sci-fi stuff. I find there is not a lot of it, and it frustrates me
Are you
because
sure? Have you looked? Are you saying that there's
there's
not a lot or there aren't a lot of good ones?
there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of interesting sci-fi. And I recently read something from like I think in the 90s, 80s, 70s called Mother Sarah. Essentially, like humanity was up in space, and then they crash land on Earth because Earth was like not uninhabited, but like over time it wasn't able to be lived there for too long. But then they were going back, and she went down, and she lost her kids in this post-apocalyptic setting on Earth. Her husband went somewhere. She was, she had a baby when she crash landed on Earth, and to hide from people who were trying to like kill her or hurt her, she ended up killing her own baby by trying covering his mouth to keep him from
No, I
crying, and she
watched a show
died.
like that.
Then she got raped, and then she lost her. I think she lost her hand. No, she lost her breast in the altercation afterward, fighting off and killing the guy. And you just follow her throughout her looking for her kids because she thinks her kids are still alive. And I think she comes across her daughter and her son, and eventually her husband. It's an interesting sci-fi setting, and I really enjoyed it. It's not nothing I haven't seen before. Humans up in space come down to a destroyed Earth, trying to make way in a destroyed, deserty, apocalyptic Mad Max type of setting. I liked it, but I was talking about sci-fi stuff because I find everything is about fantasy now, even or just uh that type of renaissancey setting type of thing. You get what I
I
mean?
don't understand what you're trying to say. What are you
The
trying to say?
influx of isekai stuff and fantasy stuff and video games genre stuff settings, they always go to like that generic type of fantasy world with swords and magic and or
Okay.
tons of video game screens, that type of thing. I find that is extremely prominent nowadays, and there isn't a lot of interesting sci-fi settings knocking around. I find I know they're out there, and I know there's some that I don't know of, but it feels it feels like I don't see them, or maybe I don't know that they're there, and I just want to read more hard or good sci-fi stuff. It doesn't need to be space
Hard.
opera. It doesn't need to be like a space opera or anything like that. I just need a decent sci-fi. It feels so rare to come across that type of stuff. I was just recently caught up on the Expanse, and that got me thinking. It's like, damn, they really got a lot of sci-fi stuff knocking about to watch or and read. So I have to. Well, there's plenty of books, and that's what I do. I just go and read books that fulfill that need in me. Give me more sci-fi settings.
You heard it here, folks. You go out there and search for all great sci-fi and recommend them to our Chris here.
Yes, I need something to read, man. I have 1,000 manga on a list, but I need something to read.
Right? It's not like you would go back and read that stuff.
I do, but you can only go back and
I mean,
read
you
certain
don't want to
things so
go
many
back and read
times.
so many times.
Yeah. I've gotten so tired of everything being an isekai or reincarnation or cultivation or I became the villainous or I became the demon lord or I became the last boss or well there's actually one of those that's actually pretty good. But man, I want a decent, interesting sci-fi setting. Just give me some weird parasite is killing people and shit and trying to figure it out. That's all I want. Please. Please.
Okay, stop. Stop whatever this is.
I had a good time talking to you
No, you
about.
didn't.
What do you mean? No, I didn't.
Right. So this was Rambling Tea Time.
This was our first episode, yeah?
It was our first episode. I hope that no one is going to be acting a fool in the comment section or wherever.
No one's gonna listen to this.
You don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna get one view, and it's gonna be from mom or
Exactly.
dad.
And I hope that that one boo isn't acting a fool. Okay?
Okay.
Don't act badly. Okay? Don't be
Bye-bye.
all hatery.
Happy holidays.
You cutting off me telling them not to act.
Bye bye. Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay. Good night, everyone.